Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We
It's
have
time
arrived.
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 11th of September, 2014. We know about 9/11. It's that auspicious day that happens every year in which we are reminded of this attack that took place in New York and in Washington. However, what really happened and what we were told happened are two different things. We're going to get into that, of course, of today's show. Today we have a transition between signs takes place at 8:17, so just within the next half hour we're going to go into the next sign, which is a moon sign, Aries or Taurus, going from Aries into Taurus. So we've been in a fire sign. Now we're going to an earth sign. So we're going to have double earth. Earth for the conscious mind, which is Virgo. Earth for the moon sign. Sun and moon are both earth. Earth is physical things, practical things. A lot of earth. A lot of earth going around. The Hermit and the Hierophant. Right, 10. Oh, excuse me. That's tonight. Is that transition? 7:18 p.m. So not half an hour from now, but 12 hours and half an hour from now. What we have going on this morning is the sun sign is in a right here with Saturn. About discipline, sextile with Saturn. It's all about the discipline of how we use our energy, how we heal, how we help each other heal and shine the light high. It's very important on a day like today. It makes sense because all of the emotions that are in the air and the healing that needs to take place, the information that needs to be shared, we need to really be aware of how we do this and how the day goes about, how we take care of each other. So let's just pay attention to that, and especially as we have this double earth coming on later today and into tomorrow. Numerology for today is number 9. Number 9. The number 9 is the number of the Hermit, so we're very familiar with the number 9. And the way we came to that number, I'll be right with you there. Here's how we've arrived at that number. 9 plus the 11 plus 2014. Add them together, that's 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. So today our numerology is the 9. So let's see where we're at today. Our numerology is number 9 right here. Our sun sign is Virgo right here. And our moon sign at the present time is Aries right here, but it's moving from Aries into Taurus over here. So we can just kind of see where our placement is. Everything right now is on this side of the tree. You need to go back to the middle. This is the side of the tree, the pillar of mercy. So we're learning things, we're dealing with the issues of learning and mercy, humility. Humility is the opposite of excessive pride. Excessive pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. Nothing wrong, with a little pride. It's excessive pride that's the problem. And that excessive pride is what we see as an example of what happened in the course of 9/11, the excessive pride of America, and what we experienced on that day. So we're now flipped to the other side, experience the true humility of the situation, having to look at it from a different point of view. Alright, so let's see. Today, which one should we look at today? We haven't looked at in a while. Again, it's all good information just to go over each one. Let's go over the Hermit again. Actually, let's go over let's go over the Hermit. So we've been looking at the Hermit all month long, representing Virgo. Hebrew letter Yod means open hand. It's an earth sign. Gray color robe because it's the mixing of opposites. So therefore he represents the middle between the opposites, that balancing point. The light represents information, as it always does. The lantern represents light that was gained through solitude, and the Hermit then comes back to hold the lantern high for others. So the lantern is meant to shine the light so others have information, just like the Hermit. Right? The Hermit represents the one identity, or the I Am. He represents the consciousness of the man who has attained enlightenment, and he stands in the mountain peaks as a light bearer for those below him on the path. He is solitary, alone. The symbolism points to the fact that in reality the central self of every one of us, which seems to us like a separate from every other self, is the same one identity. Because this key represents the one identity, it is also symbolizes will, since the manifested universe came into being by an act of primal will of the one identity. The Hermit's gray robe, by its color, symbolizes the neutralization of all pairs of opposites in manifestation by each other, because opposite colors mixed equally produce gray. The staff corresponds to will and the archetypal world. He stands in darkness because what is behind our personifications of the Supreme Deity is dark and incomprehensible to our intellects. Yet he carries the golden six-rayed light, symbolizing cosmic principles and laws. As our consciousness awakens to the understanding of these laws, the darkness recedes as the light shines more brightly, until at last we find ourselves upon the heights to which we now aspire. Okay? That is the Hermit. Again, I've been going over these, and the best way to learn is to continue to use repetition. That's why we've been going over all of the different cards, some of them more than others. Just depends on if they're involved with the course of the day. The moon sign, or the moon phase, is 91% of the way full. It's making its way down to a new moon. It's got well over a week to go yet. This week we look up in the sky. It says a winter preview. If you're up before dawn, the sky displays the same starry panorama as it will at early dusk next February. Orion stands high in the southeast. Sirius and Canis Major sparkle to Orion's lower left. Gemini occupies the east to Orion's left, and Jupiter shines far below Gemini's Castor and Pollux. Alright, let's move on from there to our Mayan Oracle for the day. It's a 4-tone day. We're in the position or the wave spell of the Skywalker, the theme of exploration. Today's about asking questions. The warrior asks questions. The warrior doesn't fight with the body. The warrior uses the mind to have to be able to avoid the fight. Today we have the human guided, the warrior guided by the human. And it's the self-existing warrior, because it's the 4 tones. So we have self-existent warrior guided by the human. The phrase I define in order to question measuring fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with a self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of free will. Over at space weather, well, let's see if we have any notice of what's going on. We did get a flare that you heard about yesterday. And right here is the notice. It says Sunspot AR 215.8 erupted on the 10th yesterday, producing an X 1.6 solar flare. Flash of ultraviolet radiation from the explosion ionized the upper layers of the Earth's atmosphere, disturbing HF radio communications for more than an hour. More importantly, the explosion hurled a CME directly towards Earth. Alright, so, and it says a pair of CMEs is heading for Earth. 2 solar storm clouds were launched on September 9th and 10th by strong explosions in the magnetic canopy of Sunspot AR 2158. NOAA forecasters estimate a nearly 80% chance of polar geomagnetic storms on the 12th, when the first of the 2 CME arrives. Okay, so something just to be aware of. Our planetary KNX, we could see it's between the 2 and the 4 at the present time. Coronal holes only have a little one up here, one down here, but nothing that we're told is affecting us. Alright, our M-class flare possibilities up. It was 75, now we're up to 85. So a good chance we're going to have another. And X-class is up to 40. Now this was only 35, and yet we had an X-class the other day. So, and then geomagnetic storm activity, it's getting up there pretty good. So 79% here in the high latitudes. That's pretty high up there. 45 in the mid latitudes. So have your cameras ready. Might have some interesting colors in the sky as we are affected by this. All right, the link's available. And last, over on the Jewish calendar today, we are at 16 Elul. 16 Elul. The daily thought today is vertical orientation. Any true wisdom, as ethereal as it may be, sits upon your head as a massive reservoir of living waters, provided only a small opening, and it will burst into your reality and pour down into your life. Whatever wisdom you learn, whatever you know of, do something with it, make it real. That is the purpose of meditation and prayer, to be that bridge from wisdom to action. Alright, there you go. That's our cosmic weather. Gets us started for today. Let's jump over into the UFO news because it's up next. Here we go.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alrighty, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story takes us to Malaysia. Here we have our object in question. It's Penang, Malaysia. Kota Kinabalu. The appearance of the red light in the sky is clear for a few minutes and caused people to panic. But some are quick to make various assumptions, including claiming the incident was caused by a meteor or a comet. It is understood that the red light was still clearly visible around Penang and Putnam starting at 7 p.m. yesterday before starting to blur and eventually disappear about 10 p.m. A resident who wanted to be known as Winnie, 22, she was aware of the phenomena when driving a car home about 9 p.m. She said, then I drove to Tanjung Aru and the people came out of the house to see it. I stopped the vehicle and saw a line of light in the sky and thought it was a meteor. So the situation is somewhat unusual because the light of a comet will move, but this light appeared stationary. Okay. Very good. Moving from Malaysia, we're going to go over to Washington, Kennewick, Washington. It says, know that Kennewick is the home of the famous Hartford Nuclear Reservation and did many experiments at dumping radiation into the drinking water back in the 50s without public consent. Also, radiation leaks are common, as you see in the photo below. Aliens might be curious about the radiation and its effects on the public, which still are seen today. Kennewick resident saw a flying object Sunday night around his neighborhood and was unsure if it was a drone or UFO. People would probably be alarmed if they saw a flying object in the neighborhood at night, especially with new aircraft technology being used to spy on people or take pictures. David Freehoff said he was walking his dogs when he saw what he thought was a UFO in the sky, and he ran to get his camera. Freehoff works at the airport and said he's familiar with aircrafts. He said the purple light and the flying object he saw made it hard to tell what it was. We looked up at the sky, and there was a bright purple light just darting all around. It was too high up to be a toy. I just thought it was really strange. Okay, sometimes the videos take a while to load. It's not happening, so I'm going to move on from here. Links available so you can check it out. It's at firstcontactradio.com on today's playlist. Here we're going to go to Jerseyville, Illinois, September 9th. This is new amazing video footage recorded in the daytime above Jerseyville. Okay, nice little map shows where Jerseyville is, right in the middle. Here, or close to the middle, right there. Alright. There's objects in question. There we go, nice good orbs in the sky there. Alright, very good. Good shots. Let's move from here to the next sighting, Pretoria, South Africa. Footage of a bright UFO sighting recorded in the daytime sky while flying near the airplane in Pretoria on September 8th. Witness said his UFO orbs filmed in an airplane over Pretoria. Okay, the video is 1 minute 11 seconds. And I'm going to zip ahead here. And of course, as always, enlarge the screen. There we go, right there. You see it? Just slowly coming across. There it is, right there. Okay, good shot. Next, Arizona witness says a UFO escorted by 2 military jets. An Arizona witness at McNeil Airport, Arizona, reported watching a boomerang-shaped UFO that appeared to be escorted by 2 military jets at about 9:08 p.m. on September 9, 2014, according to the MUFON database. The reporting witness and his mother were in the barn feeding horses when a rambling sound was heard overhead. The witness describes the sound in the setting. I've heard that 100 times, the witness stated. There was a full moon rising in the east about 3 or 4 fingers above the horizon in a very clear night. I looked up to the west where I heard the plane and I saw red lights moving southwest, but it was strange. It had 5 lights in a boomerang pattern, 1 on the nose and 2 more on each side. If it was a plane, it was bigger than the plane I've ever seen. It was really high up too, but I've seen airliners around those same heights and it was 5 times bigger than those. There were 2 jet fighters tailing slightly behind the tips of the wings. I knew that they were separate aircraft because they moved independently from the red lights, which stayed together, and they were not red, but more likely white, yellow in color. As the object and jets passed over, I could see the jets had blinking aircraft lights, like you see on all of the aircraft. I kept watching for a few more minutes until the lights faded by the glare of the moon to the southeast. I went back to the barn and told my mother what I had seen. A few minutes after that, at 9:20 p.m., I saw 2 jet fighters returning from the same direction, going northwest. They were no longer escorting anything and had their afterburners on. They were going much faster than when I had previously seen them. Okay. We have NSA official blows the whistle on UFOs, releases UFO documents. Just as Edward Snowden made huge headlines and still is over all the world, William Binney did the same in 2001 when he resigned from the National Security Agency after 9/11 blew the lid off the NSA mass surveillance program. He worked for the agency for more than 30 years and was the leading code breaker against the Soviet Union during the Cold War. He's had quite a run, starting in 2002 when he let the public know of a system of Trailblazer intended to analyze data carried on communication networks like the Internet. He exposed the agency's eavesdropping program and has faced harassment from the FBI, the NSA, and more. He has been in and out of the courtroom and has since decided to resign and blow the whistle. Here's a quick wiki write-up about him. A simple Google search will confirm who he is for those who have never heard of him. It says Benny was interviewed on 9/11 in Freefall Radio, where he said, "We selectively ignore basic facts. What I mean by basic fact is something that's just there that needs to be addressed, even if it can't explain if they should have said, we can't explain this, but it's there. So they at least recognize that this is basic fact existed. My problem is, just like the UFO thing, unless they start addressing these kind of things, people's observations are basic measurements of factual evidence that simply exists. Unless they start addressing them, there's always going to be questions, especially now with the government. How much trust do you have with this government? We've been spying, putting whistleblowers in jail, torturing, giving immunity to people who commit these kinds of crimes. How much trust can you put in a government like that when you selectively ignore these kind of things?" Much more to the article. Leaving it available for you on the playlist for today at firstcontactradio.com. And last one, this was a symposium, September 19th. UFOs and Paranormal will be discussed and debated in great detail at the 5th Annual University of Nebraska at Omaha Symposium. UFOs Symposium, Friday, September 19th. From 5 to 10 p.m., the UNOCPACS attendees will hear from a variety of local and regional speakers and experts on UFOs and paranormal activity. So links available, so you can check that out. If you're in the area, perhaps attend the event. And there you have it. That is our UFO news. I'm going to jump away momentarily. I will be back. Let me find this song here I want to put on. Let's see if this works.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
Okay. So how do I really feel about this 9/11? Well, we're going to talk about that for a few minutes before we jump into the next segment. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you this website right here. It's called Blueprint for Truth, Architect and Engineers for 9/11Truth. First of all, let me give my little disclaimer here. People died in 9/11. I am sorry for the people that died. I do not wish to belittle or demean any of the families whose victims has died. It was a very sad, tragic day. War took place after this. Many other people died. People that were innocent, people that weren't innocent. A lot of problems. A lot of terror on the American people has happened since then. This war on terror continues on. And the Al-Qaeda, the whole mess that's taken place, it's just getting worse and worse. But a precedent was set on that day, on September 11th, 2001, because a false flag was played upon the American people. Now, a false flag incident, for those of you who have been paying attention, and I know that you are, is an incident, and this is for the benefit of the new people. A false flag is where you do something and blame somebody else. We've all been there. We all are aware of how this happens. We've done this since we've been little kids, this little game that we're aware of. We know that the people do it in business all the time. You do something, you blame somebody else. So we have a number of situations, for example, where the United States was going to blow up something of theirs and then blame somebody else. Operation Northwoods, they were going to blow up a ship and then blame Cuba. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, we found that was an incident that was allowed to happen. Got us into a war because it was all allowed. It was found out years later. Many people are upset by the fact that we were dragged into a war by a false event. If we look throughout history, the Reichstag fire in Germany was started by Hitler himself. I don't know that he himself went in with the fire, but it was the Germans, the Nazis, who started the fire. So as we go throughout history, false flags is normal. It's what you do to drag your people into a war, because otherwise people aren't going to go fight a war. So you have to convince them and lie to them that there's an enemy out there. So September 11th, 2001, an attack took place on American soil. Since that time, it's been 13 years. Since that time, this event has been investigated and investigated and investigated. It's been written about in peer-reviewed articles. It's been reviewed by scientists, by engineers, by architects, by firefighters, police officers, pilots. There are organizations that are out online. You can find them. Pilots for 9/11Truth, firefighters for 9/11Truth, police officers for 9/11Truth, architects and engineers for 9/11Truth, military persons for 9/11Truth. Many, many, many credible individuals are out there saying that we need to know what really happened, because the truth is not what we were told. You see, on 9/11, we were told a story. The story that a group of hijackers took over these planes. And then over the course of the years, it has been determined that there is no way possible these hijackers took over these planes, and that we've been lied to. So, what I want to show you here is this site, 9/11, Architects and Engineers for 9/11Truth. Why is this important? This is an important site for this reason. We go into buildings every single day. Buildings that are made by architects and engineers. Architects and engineers, they have a problem with buildings that fall down. People don't like to go into them. So an architect and an engineer, they do not want to build buildings that fall down. So when they heard that the laws of physics were completely upset on 9/11 and buildings, 3 buildings, fell down that day, 2 of which we were told were hit by airplanes, and then 1 which wasn't hit by anything, they all just fell down. These architects and engineers said something's fishy about this. Buildings shouldn't just fall down. We need to find out what's going on because the American people will be quite upset if we build more buildings that just fall down randomly or when it has a little bit of damage to it. So they dug into this and they found out that the buildings did not fall the way that the official story told. As a matter of fact, the official story is so full of holes, the 9/11 Commission themselves said that it needs to be reinvestigated, that they were set up to fail. So we can't rely upon the public because the public, or we can't rely upon the government because the government is covering this up. The government lied about it. Okay, the Bush administration was involved. They should be in jail, period. War criminals. This administration is continuing to cover up what they did. The media are gatekeepers. Guys like Bill O'Reilly, huge gatekeeper. I know people watch Bill and think he's honest. Bill is not an honest man. Sorry to break the news to you. He's a very dishonest man who's been lying to the American public for quite some time. One day, those lies are going to come right back to his front door, and he's going to be confronted with all of the same problems that he thought he was immune from. He's not immune. He's just like everybody else, and one day he's going to find out from the people that are pulling his strings that he's not as immune as he thinks he is, at which point in time he's going to realize it's too late. I hope the camera's on him that day. I think that America would love to see the look of panic on his face and others like him, Rachel Maddow, the jokers over at CNN, Wolf and Anderson. Anyway, 9/11 right here. Great website. Check it out. Psychology is very important about 9/11. You can go over and if you go over to the evidence page here, you can look through all of these videos. Great videos to watch all about the subject. Here's a great one, Blueprint for Truth. This one really gets into just the evidence itself. I have a 10-minute version of it. As you go down here, we have videos from press conferences that were held. You hear architects and engineers in a variety of these giving testimony. Okay, there's plenty of evidence that is here. There's videos that you will find at this site dealing with the psychology of 9/11. Psychology of 9/11 is very important because we all operate according to emotions, according to how things happen in life, and so those who understand how to push our buttons do so. And they push our buttons in many different ways, and so we are all affected by it. So on 9/11, 9/11 was a big event. It was an event that took place in our country, and it really affected the security of the United States of America. For many Americans, it's too big of an issue to deal with. They don't want to understand, or they don't even want to even approach the idea or thought that this country could have done this to themselves. It wasn't this country. It was some bad apples, some bad seeds within this organization of this country. But it wasn't the good people of America. It was the corrupt individuals of America. Some of those wicked and godless that we talk about when we know that in the end times are going to be removed. Those are the same individuals causing the problems. So with 9/11, it was such a big event that we all shut down psychologically because we didn't know how to approach this. And people don't want to go and look at the 9/11 issue because they're afraid of what they might find. Yet the evidence is so overwhelming that all it requires is a desire to go look at the information and the evidence. Yet most people will not even approach that because they're so fearful of what they will find. And when you tell people there's a mountain of evidence, you'll take them to it, they won't even allow that to happen because that's how fear really has a grasp on people's lives. So we have to learn to get past this fear, okay? I'm telling you, go through these videos. Look through here. Just pick some out. Start up here at the very top. You know, get the first videos right here with this Blueprint for Truth. Start with this one, even with the trailer. Trailer's a shorter video, and you can see what's going on. follow the links. There's plenty of leaks at firstcontactradio.com for 9/11. If you look at the Loose Change series, there's a number of different ones that they made, different cuts. Awesome series, really outlines it. There's an unbelievable amount of information online about 9/11 showing you what really happened that day and what didn't happen. What didn't happen was what the government said. What did happen was there was an inside job that took place in the United States of America, a false flag event in order to drag Americans into war. Many Americans fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, like they did in other times, signed up, went off to the war. Now we're hearing about many, many soldiers who are committing suicide on a daily basis. Why? Because we are hearing that these soldiers have found out the truth of why they are there. They've realized and discovered that they were lied to and that they are out there doing things that they wouldn't have done if they weren't lied to. But when that lie is combined with emotions, it gets people all riled up. And once those two buttons are pushed, then you just want to go out and fight. It's psychology. It's all about psychology. We need to look past this. We need to have compassion for the people who are hurting, because there are a lot of them. But on 9/11, what happened was so serious, and yet to ignore that is irresponsible, because there's people who died in that building, and those people haven't gotten the justice that they deserve, because people are turning a blind eye, believing the government. Why would anybody in this day and age believe what the government says, knowing the track record of truths that they continue to spread out into the world? You know, some people are just gluttons for punishment, believing all the lies and nonsense that comes around. All right. Now we're going to jump back over to our book about the Pleiadians. So does that, what I said about 9/11, you understand what I'm saying? Check out the links. There's plenty there. I'm really passionate about this particular topic because it affects all of us. And on a daily basis, people are still subjected to that same old nonsensical fear that is out there, and there's really no reason for it. You know, we're out there fighting this enemy, the Al-Qaeda. The Al-Qaeda was created by the United States of America. And so now, in the same way that Al-Qaeda was created by the United States of America, by the agencies, alphabet agencies, here we have ISIS, the same thing. There's a branch of ISIS headquartered in the United States of America, in two locations outside of Fort Huachuca and in Washington, D.C. ISIS, yes, ISIS. They're a military and they're an intelligence organization that does covert and support security operations with the Department of Defense in places like Iraq. Guess what? There's an organization out there we're told is a terrorist organization called ISIS, in the same part of the world where we, the United States of America, has a intelligence organization. Now, I know you're smart out there, and you're not going to fall for the nonsense of thinking it's just some random event. So, the United States creates these enemies all the time. This is common practice. If we continue to fall for the same lies that we fell for 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, guess what? They're going to keep telling the same lie. And if Americans keep getting dumber and dumber and dumber, as it seems to be from what we're seeing from educational standards and just hearing what is coming out of people's mouths, doesn't make a good mix when you got dumb people and leaders that are telling lies to fool the dumb people. Kind of a recipe for craziness. All right, so we're going to move on now to our book here, and we believe we're at chapter 9. Was it? Let's jump out here and we'll find out. If you haven't had a chance to read through this book, or pick the book up here, here's the PDF. It's available. Just download it and keep reading more than what we get to here. because we only get to a portion of it. Gotta get must be close. There's 7. There's 9. Okay. Here we go. It says, since you are a frequency controlled society, the ability of humanity to create technology has been limited. In a less controlled society that has a greater outreach or travel capabilities through space and greater in exchange between systems, technological advances are quite astounding and uplifting. Many gifts and influences from outside this planet have been hushed up. Some information has, of course, been given to the planet in very different ways, and the resulting technologies have brought about great changes in lifestyle. One of the changes in lifestyle that occurred during this century was the introduction of movies. A whole new way of influencing thought was brought to this planet by the film industry. Just as there is a movie industry on this planet, there are those in space who have a holographic industry. They make holographic insert dramas that look just like they are real and insert them into portals into your reality. Since these space beings have been around for hundreds of thousands of years and humanity's frequencies have been controlled, it's quite easy to hoodwink human beings. Holographic inserts have been used on Earth to manipulate and control consciousness and to change the story of information to one of disinformation, one of a limited amount of knowledge. As we see it, those who use the holographic inserts are not always after bringing lighter information or upliftment to people. They have ulterior motives, although they may pass them off as light. Holographic experiences, especially viewings in the sky, are set up to influence a large group of people at once. Many, though not all, UFO sightings have been holographic inserts. There may be holographic inserts of one individual designed in any fashions, projected simultaneously in many different cultures. This is why some of the Earth's religious stories are parallel from one corner of the world to another, where there was no physical contact. Holographic inserts look exactly like 3D reality. They are creations of events manufactured and inserted into reality, look as if they are part of a sequential action. They are used to influence the minds of observers. They are very difficult to recognize. You will have plenty of practice in the next number of years when in the Middle East and other areas around the planet a lot of extraterrestrial activities come into full force and begin to be published. Some of the grand events will be very legitimate. Some of them will be inserts designed to move the consciousness of humanity towards the one world order to be controlled. Okay, so let me take a moment here. Some of what they're referring to sounds like Project Bluebeam. You're familiar with Project Bluebeam? For those of you who aren't, Project Bluebeam is a military project. It has to do with using holographic equipment shot in the sky to create a giant screen, to make a movie in the sky, a holographic movie. So this technology has been around for some while. Project Bluebeam, you can go online, you can find stories. Serge Monast, I believe is his name, is the journalist who broke the story on this. And using this technology of frequencies, they use this to be able to get into the mind, to have you think that you're hearing things, to be able to plant thoughts into your heads, to place a image in the sky so that you would think that this is maybe one of your religious leaders that has come back, depending on which country. You would depend upon who you saw, or to simulate an alien invasion. Again, all of this holographic, and so then our military steps in, defeats the holographs, and America says, yay, our military is awesome and we should keep going and fighting and killing more people around the world because that's what God wants. And then we'll continue on. But God doesn't want us killing each other around the world, so we need not buy into all of the lies, because the lies and the holographs and everything that would be shown would be coming from the Americans again, and the Earthlings again, going back to the wicked and the godless, the very same ones that we're told are going to be removed by the extraterrestrials when the time comes, when they make their return. Those very same ones who are going to be removed, yeah, they're the ones who are causing the problems, that want to create the holographs to fool you so that they can take over you. You see how it works? It's not really all that difficult. It's not brain surgery by any means. Not at all. Okay, so the book's available, the link's available, so you can check that out. I'm going to move on to this article here at In5D. I go there every day to In5D. I'm sure you know by now. Why? Because I like their articles. And that is the number one reason why. I find that their articles are very good quality articles, that all of the writers have information that is very important to share, and therefore I can trust that when I go there and I pull the information up, that it's coming from a good source, a good credible source. And so that's what's important to me, and I know it's important to you. So In5D has become a regular part of the show. This article here is called Cosmic Radiation and Light Changes DNA by Jeff Roberts. This article is based on academic research referenced in David Wilcock's The Source Field Investigations and his follow-up book Synchronicity Key, The Hidden Intelligence Guiding the Universe in You. I highly recommend you check out both of these books for further information. DNA is essential to any scientific understanding of life. One strand of the double helix holds the complete code that is needed to clone an entire organism. The process of DNA formation is one that is now up for debate, as the fundamentals of quantum physics aim to explain how DNA began as a wave form rather than a molecule. This new idea suggests that the universe is composed of an invisible wave pattern complex that forms matter by the exertion of microgravitational forces. On a molecular scale, information in the form of waves pulls atoms and molecules in it to create more complex structures, such as DNA. So if these wave patterns were visible, empty space would appear as fluid geometric patterns, such as the shape of a DNA strand, and pull in atoms to form physical replicas of the wave pattern. In a study published in the Journal of Physical Chemistry by London Imperial College Department of Chemistry, the idea of microgravitational forces forming matter out of wave patterns was witnessed in person. Dr. Sergei Alenkin placed different types of DNA in saltwater solutions and differentiated the various strands by coloring them. Remarkably, the colored DNA were drawn to one another, moving very far distances to find the corresponding matches, and every time the DNA strand was paired up correctly. Although Dr. Alenkin equated the phenomena with possible electrical charges, other research revealed that the gravity was likely the culprit. In an astonishing experiment performed by Nobel Prize winner Dr. Luc Montagnier, DNA was randomly created out of nothing but sterilized water. The experiment used two separate sealed test tubes, one containing sterilized water and the other carrying both sterilized water and DNA. After electrifying both tubes and letting the tubes sit for 18 hours, Dr. Montagnier was surprised to see that the tube had originally contained nothing but water had produced tiny DNA strands. This was a shock for many reasons, mainly because water only contains hydrogen and oxygen, and a DNA molecule is much more complex. How could something like this possibly happen? It seemed as though the DNA had teleported from one tube to another, like they were connected by an unknown force. Could this experiment reveal that forces of the universe are constantly trying to form life wherever it can by hidden microgravitational waves? In 1984, a Russian scientist by the name of Dr. Peter Garyev discovered another remarkable property of DNA, in which each strand had the naturally tendency to absorb and store hundreds of thousands of photons of light particles. Dr. Garyev placed DNA inside a small quartz container, and to his surprise, the DNA absorbed every photon in the room. Gravity is the only force that we know that can bend light, so therefore Dr. Garyev's experiment reinforced the idea of a hidden microgravitational force. Things got even stranger when Dr. Garyev removed the DNA from the quartz container. To his amazement, the photons that had originally been absorbed by the DNA stayed in the quartz container in the exact shape of the DNA. Anyone would have thought that the photons should have been scattered, and there seemed to be an unknown force keeping the photons in place. Dr. Gariev blasted the photons with nitrogen gas to disperse them, and within minutes the photons were drawn back to the same area and formed the same phantom DNA shape. This experiment suggests that gravity has a quantum structure and can exist without the presence of matter permeating throughout the entire universe. If our DNA can store light, then could cosmic rays have an effect on the structure? These discoveries could provide massive implications for science and our understanding of the universe. If gravity has quantum intelligent properties, then it could be proof that life exists or has the ability to form all throughout the universe. Further DNA studies revealed even more interesting abilities of the molecule when Italian scientist Pier Luigi Igiana was able to transform a living apricot tree into an apple tree by zapping it with DNA wave information. Igiana also zapped a rat with the DNA wave of a cat, causing the rat to grow a cat-like tail within days. These experiments support the idea that DNA forms from informational waves, and from this knowing we can suggest that our evolution may have been influenced by cosmic rays carrying encoded information from our sun. It is surprising that such astounding discoveries haven't made it to the forefront of the mainstream media. These discoveries could change the foundations of physics and biochemistry as we know it. There is now evidence to suggest that an intelligence race guiding the evolution of life throughout the universe, which brings us another step closer to understanding the divine mysteries of our existence within the cosmos. Good article right here. This part is very interesting where he talks about the light coming down. It says these experiments support the idea that DNA forms from informational waves, and from this knowing we can suggest that our evolution may have been influenced by cosmic rays carrying encoded information from our sun. Well, we just had this big solar flare, and racing towards the planet right now is this energy from the sun. We have energy from the sun every day because it shines upon the planet, but with the solar flare, it's bringing a different type of intensity. So we're going to see how it feels to our planet and how it feels to ourselves once it hits. But remember the series, the animated series, the Fantastic Four. Now they're making the movies of it. Remember how the Fantastic Four gained their powers? Cosmic radiation. They were out in space. A wave of radiation went by, and they all gained their superpowers. So it's very interesting that we are going through this period of time that we're in. There's a lot of changes going on in the world, and information exists showing that we do go through DNA type changes from the light around us, from the sun, from the environment, and we see the environment doing the kind of things that we hear of that does affect change. So time will tell, but I believe and continue to believe that we are living in a time that is most interesting to all of us. All right, this is our channeled message for today. It is from Mother Mary. Here we go.
Mother Mary, you are becoming master alchemists.
Channeled by Franzipeda, September 8, 2014.
Mother Mary,
greetings, beloved travelers into the fifth dimension and higher. You are practicing with your multidimensional selves. You are experiencing the higher dimensions much more regularly while dealing with your remake of your physical bodies to accommodate your ascension. I say remake because indeed your physical body, which has been your vehicle for so long in the third dimension, is undergoing massive overhaul and refinement to blend with your light body and to allow your multidimensional selves to be experienced on a much deeper and constant level. And indeed this has been a wild ride for many of you. You are not sure at times what is happening and what is to be achieved. However, your innate compass, your innate sense of being, your divine being knows exactly what it is doing, dear ones, and I am here once again to enfold you in my loving arms, and comfort you in your travels to the deep recesses of your heart, where you are discovering so many wondrous things about your multidimensional selves. You are exquisite in this growing refinement. Indeed, as you accept your growth and do not fight or resist it, you are feeling lighter and more expansive. You are embarking more and more into all your aspects and accepting all your aspects. You are experiencing on a much more solid level your multidimensionality. The unknown nature of it is becoming more comfortable to you. The unknown quality of it is being transformed in favor of your growing familiarity with it as you open more to all the possibilities of your true nature, that your physical body in the third dimension is but one small part of you, and is a means to encompass all the parts of you as you mesh and blend with your higher aspects, and feel the energies pouring into you for just that purpose. And so, my dear ones, I take you again on a journey with me, further into the deep recesses of your heart, further into your divine heart, further into your core true being. So take a deep breath now with me. Feel me enfold you in my arms of love, my deep everlasting fulfilling love. As I do this, feel the exact duplicate of this love well up within you and feel the velvety lightness of it. Feel the depth of it. Feel the comforting soothing essence of it. I am magnifying your love for yourself with my very presence, with my deep flowing waves of translucent and shimmering love pouring over, through and in you. Match it with your own. Match it with what you know and remember of love from Source when you were birthed from Source so many eons ago. Generate and remember and experience that love now. Experience the sweet essence of it, the warmth of it, the glow of it, the power of it. Feel it permeating every cell of your physical body and feel it permeate your light body. Feel it be your essence now, swim in it as your true milieu, your ocean of experience in the multiverse. You now cannot feel your physical body as separate from your light body but still as an anchor to Gaia, as an anchor to her core. As you breathe you feel tethered yet free to explore the universe and multiverse and all the higher dimensions fueled with the love that is your essence. Love becomes your lens with which you are experiencing everything in your everyday world. It is the lens with which you perceive everything. Feel the formlessness of your energy while still knowing you are fully anchored in your physical body. The boundaries to your thinking have now been expanded in this. With love and peace as your lens, everything takes on a new meaning and purpose. It opens up vistas for you. It opens up a new way to manipulate and perceive your daily experiences. Everything can be colored in this new higher dimensional reality if you see everything through this lens. From there you tap the joy and harmony of each experience simply because you have perceived it through the lens of love. It is exquisite. Imagine that each thought or experience you have has a core to it that is love. From that core you can work outward and see the lesson and gift of the experience or thought, as love colors and transforms and transmutes it to its true purpose and reason for being. You are becoming master alchemists in allowing yourself to see everything born of love and thus able to return to love. It is a simple exquisite process that you all are learning, rather, relearning to do very expertly. And so you are grasping the depth of your existence in this way. You are tapping the true essence of your being in this way. You are traveling through your experiences coming from a base of love which reaches and catapults you into the higher dimensions with ease. Feel your energy expanded now. Feel your sense of normality change. Feel it encompassing greater possibilities. You are well on your way to discovering your expanded multidimensional selves by allowing yourselves to be in your physical bodies while exploring the very depths of your being in this new way. It feels subtle and maybe a little confusing, but I have just taken you on a journey of expansion and you may now feel like your view of things are lit up and more free-floating. You still have a grasp on your physical connection with Mother Earth, but at the same time you have opened yourself to explore deeper parts of you that are rooted in the higher dimensions and that you have delved deeper into the possibilities that you may always view things from the lens of love always and forever. So I continue to enfold you in my arms of love as you magnify your love for yourself and others. And from this place you can now soar into the higher dimensions with higher and deeper ability. Namaste. All my love is yours. Mother Mary.
Very nice message from Mother Mary that takes us to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. And breathe again. Inhale and exhale. And just continue to breathe gently and easily. And as you do, just contemplate the ideas of love and peace. And I want you to think about today and the significance of today. It's a day of sadness here in the United States of America, as people are reminded of a tragic event And it's important during this time that we look at each other through the eyes of love and peace, that we have compassion with each other. For there are many in pain, and there are many who are uncertain about what to do and how to go from here. So let's just imagine sending love and light to all of the individuals feeling the pain and affected by this 9/11 experience. And let's send them strength as well. Strength to be able to look at the information, to see the truth. Let us imagine sending strength and light and love to every individual in this country and around the world. Strength to be able to understand the difference between the truth and the lies being told to us. Let us all imagine ourselves able to differentiate between the truth and the lies. And imagine ourselves standing there in front of the television set and hearing the news programs tell a story, and instantly we see people, no matter where we look at them around the world, reacting to the television, knowing that lies are being told. And around the world we begin to experience this feeling of truth. And as we do, and more individuals wake up to understand the lies they have been told, the false flags they've been subjected to, the unnecessary terrorism that has been spread. So we just send light and love and compassion into the world, that all of these tragedies may come to an end, and all of those behind the scenes who are supposed leaders, that they cease their activities and begin to act for the people. Let's just imagine this love settling down upon the planet and changing all for the better. And for those who do not wish to change, let's just imagine them disappearing, fading away. So as we go forth on this day, let's just send light and love out and about to all those we meet. Let our subconscious mind continue on that journey, and let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Big day today. Lots of stuff going on. You could hear all kind of nonsense out there. Just don't buy into all of the BS. Don't fight with others. It's real easy to get dragged into it, especially when you're so passionate about knowing what really happened versus the lies. You're going to run into the people who are buying the story, that are going to spout the government lies. Just, bite your lip. Send them love. Be compassionate. And hopefully everyone will wake up in the same way that there many are woken up right now. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Have a good day. Be safe. I love you. Keep loving each other. And I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Peace. I'm out of here.